What's up, guys? How's it going? MikeTheTech here, and day one with our Switch 2, and we already have a collaboration here, this time from JSAUX Gaming. If you're in the Steam Deck or Switch market for accessories, or have been in the past couple years, you've likely heard of JSAUX, and this is a very interesting offering for the Switch 2 because I personally just went on a trip or flight, and I took my Steam Deck, and thankfully the Steam Deck comes with a really solid case. However, this giant screen, this thin screen here, does not have a case. I mean, you can put it into the dock maybe and tie it up and put it into like luggage or something to try and keep it safe, but that's not really a solid user experience. So I was very intrigued when JSAUX reached out to me and asked if we'd like to review their new shock absorbent storage case. First of all, I will say shout out to JSAUX. They got the really nice packaging here. It makes it really easy to open when there's a little tab, so you don't actually have to bring out the knife and everything or spend a long time ripping plastic off and everything. It actually makes a really easy open experience. Here is the case. Let's go ahead and get rid of that there. And before we jump into this itself, let's look at the accessories. So we have a cleaning kit for the screen, for screen protectors. So I'm assuming there's a screen protector included here, as well as lots of information on how to get in touch with JSAUX here. Here are some more items and some switch control. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. Now, it says, stop, watch the video at JSAUX.com. Please check that all corners are fastened in place. So before you try and snap it in, make sure that the corners are in place on the Joy-Cons so that you don't damage the case or potentially the system. I highly doubt the system would be damaged. This seems more of a case thing. We have a back panel here, which is kind of a nice looking textured back panel. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like it blocks any vents or anything at all. Everything just seems to snap on very cleanly on the back of the Switch 2. Let's go ahead and connect the controllers. All right, so the first one is in. Very nice. It does give you a really clean grip compared to the other form factor. I feel like this is a much more comfortable grip for a long time playing. Especially for bigger guys, or at least people with bigger hands like me. This feels a lot more comfortable than just the standard grip itself. So let's go ahead and put the next one in. We're going to put the controller part first on top, or the buttons first on top, and then we're going to snap this in and make sure that it's nice and make sure that all the corners are fastened in place before we attempt to connect it to the Switch 2, which is easy as that. Now, the kickstand does still work through the dock, so very easy to use. Let's go ahead and take a look at the front here. And here we go. This is very interesting. So this is cool. It has a very thick padding here, as well as space for the entire controller, it looks like, which is cool to see. And some stands, so you can actually have it sitting while it charges and everything. And that's actually a pretty cool design. Let's see how this fits on. So we're gonna go ahead and close the kickstand there. And now that it's all assembled, in order to put this case on, you might be tempted like, oh, the bottom's round, these are round, that's where it goes, right? But that's not actually where it goes. Turn this around, turn this upside down, and you will turn that frown upside down. So hide the joysticks so that they match with that. And here you go. Very easily it pops in and it's completely protected. You still get the same form factor, including with where the joysticks are. You can feel where they are and everything. You can still get the grips, the comfort grips on the bottom to hold it, but it is completely protected. How cool is that? Then to open it, just grab the controller firmly grasp it and pick up from the bottom here. You're just going to pop it up and you're good to go. So I think this is a great way to actually travel with your Switch 2, having that kind of protection on both the joysticks, the screen, as well as hardcover front and back. This is going to keep your Switch 2 very, very safe. Shout out to JSAUX for sending this out. I'll put a link to them in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Peace.